Imagine waking up and seeing the sky turn black, not because it is night, but because ash is filling the air. The ground begins to shake, animals are running, and somewhere nearby, a small group of humans is trying to survive. Thousands of years ago, humans lived without weather forecasts, emergency alerts, modern medicine, or reinforced shelters. Yet they survived floods, volcanic eruptions, wildfires, earthquakes, extreme cold, and massive environmental changes. So how did they do it? The answer wasn't strength, it was adaptation. And sometimes it was knowing when to run. For early humans, nature was never completely predictable. Rivers could suddenly rise, lightning could start enormous fires, mountains could erupt, and climate could transform familiar landscapes. But humans had one powerful advantage. They could observe, they could remember, and they could cooperate. Imagine a group living near a river. For generations, they watched the water. They learn which areas flood first. They notice which hills remain dry. They remember where food and shelter can still be found after heavy rain. That knowledge could become a survival map, even without written language, and one of the most important survival decisions was choosing where to live. Caves, rock shelters, elevated ground, and natural formations could protect people from harsh weather. Higher ground could provide safety during floods, but shelter wasn't enough. A disaster could destroy plants, drive animals away, and make water difficult to find. Suddenly, a place that had supported a group for generations could become dangerous. This is where cooperation became critical. People could share food, search for water together, protect children, build shelters, and relocate when necessary. Cooperation gave humans something incredibly important: flexibility. Consider a volcanic eruption. Humans didn't need to understand geology to recognize danger. Unusual smoke, strange smells, earthquakes, changes in animals. These could become warnings, and if the danger became obvious, they could leave. But some disasters offered almost no warning. Earthquakes could strike within seconds. The ground could move beneath people's feet. Rock shelters could collapse, and landscapes could change almost instantly. In such situations, survival could depend on location. Then there were floods. Rivers were essential. They provided drinking water, food, transportation, and fertile land. But the same rivers could become deadly. Heavy rainfall could transform a peaceful stream into a powerful wall of water. So humans had to find a balance, close enough to use the river, far enough to survive it. Fire created another danger. Wildfires could spread rapidly through dry vegetation. But humans also learned to control fire. It provided warmth, light, cooked food, and protection from predators. This reveals something important about human survival. Humans didn't simply avoid nature, they learned how to use it. Cold was another enormous challenge. During Ice Age periods, temperatures could become brutally low, but humans developed better clothing, shelters, and ways of using fire. Animal skins provided insulation. Caves reduced exposure to wind, and groups could stay together for warmth and protection. But perhaps the greatest challenge wasn't one sudden disaster. It was environmental change. Climate could shift. Ice sheets could expand or retreat. Animals could disappear from familiar regions. Plants could change, and entire landscapes could transform. For a human group, that could mean losing everything they knew: their hunting grounds, their water sources, their migration routes, even the animals they depended on. So they adapted. They changed what they ate, changed where they lived, changed how they hunted, and sometimes they moved. Migration may have been one of humanity's greatest survival advantages. If food disappeared, follow the animals. If the climate changed, search for a better environment. If a region became dangerous, move somewhere safer. And knowledge could be passed from one generation to the next. That may be the most important part of the story. Ancient humans didn't survive because they were invincible. They survived because they learned. Every flood taught something. Every harsh winter taught something. Every dangerous landscape taught something. And those lessons became collective knowledge. Generation after generation. Humans became better at reading the world around them. They learned where to find shelter, where to find water, when to stay, when to move, and when to run. Today we have satellites, weather forecasts, emergency systems, modern buildings, and advanced technology. But the basic survival principle hasn't changed. Observe the environment, recognize danger, adapt quickly, and cooperate. Because thousands of years ago, humans weren't the strongest animals on Earth. They weren't the fastest. They didn't have claws or enormous teeth. What they had was intelligence, memory, cooperation, and the ability to adapt. Nature could destroy a shelter. A flood could erase a settlement, a volcano could bury a landscape, and a changing climate could transform an entire world. But humans kept moving, kept learning, and kept adapting. Perhaps that's why we're still here, not because we defeated nature, but because we learned how to survive inside it. And maybe that's the greatest survival skill humans have ever possessed. The ability to change before the world changes us.